Wendigo. Part 1. The forest did not welcome outsiders. That was the first thought that crossed Daniel Hopper's mind as the truck rumbled to a stop on the narrow dirt road. Towering pines leaned inward, their branches tangled like skeletal fingers, blotting out what little light the overcast sky offered. Snow fell softly, but not gently. It whispered against the windshield, as if the woods itself were speaking. Daniel shut off the engine and listened. Silence. No birds. No wind. Not even the creak of trees. "Still think this is a good idea?" Mark asked from the passenger seat, pulling his coat tighter. Daniel forced a smile. "It's just a cabin. 2 nights. We get footage. We leave." They had come north chasing a legend, an old one. Stories passed down by indigenous tribes and later twisted by settlers. A creature born from hunger, greed, and desperation. A monster said to roam the frozen forests, taller than any man, with a body stretched thin by eternal starvation. Daniel didn't believe in monsters, but he believed in views, clicks, and proof. They unloaded their gear quickly, the cold biting through gloves and boots. The cabin stood a short walk from the road, half buried in snow, its wooden walls warped by time. Someone had carved strange symbols into the door frame scratches that looked less like decoration and more like warnings. Inside, the cabin smelled of rot and old smoke. A fireplace sat cold and unused, and a single window faced the forest. Daniel set his camera on the table, filming as Mark explored the back room. Then, Mark called it, "You should see this." Hanging on the wall were bones, animal bones, mostly, but arranged carefully, almost reverently. Antlers crowned the display, their tips blackened. "Hunters," Daniel said, though the word felt wrong as it left his mouth. That night, the wind finally came. It howled through the trees, shaking the cabin, rattling the windows. Daniel lay awake in his sleeping bag, staring at the ceiling as the fire crackled weakly. Mark slept restlessly across the room, muttering in his dreams. Then Daniel heard it, a sound, distant but unmistakable. Footsteps, slow, heavy, crunching through snow. Daniel held his breath. The steps circled the cabin once, twice, then stopped. A long pause followed, so long that Daniel wondered if he had imagined it. Then came the whisper. It was faint, carried by the wind, but close, too close. "Daniel." "Ben!" His blood ran cold. Mark sat up suddenly. "You heard that too, right?" Before Daniel could answer, something scraped against the window. Not a branch. Deliberate scratches dragged across the glass, leaving thin white lines in the frost. The whisper returned, clearer now, layered and wrong as if multiple voices spoke through one throat. "Come outside." Mark reached for the door. "Don't," Daniel hissed, grabbing his arm. The scratching stopped. Silence swallowed the cabin once more. They didn't sleep after that. Morning brought no comfort. The forest looked unchanged, but something felt closer, heavier. When Daniel reviewed the camera footage, his stomach turned. At las 2:17 de la mañana. The camera had turned on by itself. The footage showed the inside of the cabin in the window. A tall shape stood just beyond the glass. Too tall. Its body was thin, unnaturally so. Ribs visible beneath stretched, gray skin. A skull-like face stared inward. Empty eye sockets glowing faintly. Antlers rose from its head, tangled with frost and dried flesh, and it was smiling. Mark stared at the screen, pale. That's not a bear. No, Daniel whispered. It's not outside. The wind picked up again. From somewhere deep in the forest, a scream echoed long, hollow, and hungry, and the Wendigo knew they were there. End of part 1.